Welcome to The Good Pod, where today we're talking The Good Wife, Season 3, Episode 8, Death Row Tip. I am one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, the woman that would do a lot for Santa Claus for a expensive fountain pen, Marissa Garza. Marissa, are you good?
I mean, I guess I'm good. Jason, are you good? What was that? What was that? No.
What are you talking about?
I'm not the one obsessed with Santa Claus. You got Santa Claus behind you. You're talking about Santa Claus. So do with that information what you will, people.
Listen, some people do things to get what they need on Christmas, and I don't judge them for that, okay? I'm not a judger.
I am not one of those people, but thank you for not judging.
If you say so, Marissa, if you say so, okay? I'm not here to judge.
Anyway, would you like to hear of some free and easy ways to support the podcast?
Good segue, Marissa. Good segue.
Thank you.
You can be our Santa Claus and bring us presents by reviewing, rating, and subscribing this podcast where you can. If you want to hear about those ways, you're confused, I don't know where to do that, you can talk to us.
Yeah.
You can email us, message us at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. Please do not review us and say, Jason's voice is crazy. Correct, because I'm sick. So please excuse that. But other than that, review, subscribe, and rate, and message, all that good stuff.
I would just like to mention Jason is here podcasting out of the goodness of his heart for the love of the fans, because I did give him an out and he refused. So this is what we got going on today. We're happy that Jason's here. Shout out to Jason, even though he just put me in a compromising position with Santa Claus. But big love.
Literally.
Big love.
I'm here for the people, here to spread the Christmas spirit, to give you what Santa Claus delivers to certain good men and women.
And what'd you think of this episode, Jason?
Listen, it was like past cameo guest star palooza. We had so many things come back. I thought we'd see again.
Yeah.
Legal Aid guy is back.
Yeah.
Crooked Fixer guy is back. I was like, I didn't expect to see any of these people again, but we're here.
Yeah, agreed. I'm waiting because you are frozen, and I will edit this out. And you're still frozen. Are you here? Can you hear me? You can hear me.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this was kind of a place where we saw a lot of people come back. We also saw some people that we haven't seen before, and this case was a little bit unorthodox, I would say, for the Good Wife formula. There was definitely like two things going on that were connected, which is very Good Wife, but we didn't necessarily like see maybe they heard us. Like, we don't need a conclusion. We don't need anything. Just talk about the peeps.
I feel like we got a conclusion on the stuff. You didn't?
I mean, we did, but not like in court or any. It just was like,
oh yeah. We introduced a suspect of a murder, and we're just like, but we don't need to hear about that guy.
Right? Yeah,
he's gonna go to jail.
That's it.
He's not who we're focused on. He's our client, but we're not worried about him. We're focused on other things about the case. We don't care about the client. You don't care about the client. He's just gonna be in jail. Something's happening to him in jail. We don't care.
Yeah, we don't know. Well, we should probably get into it. We should probably talk about what we watched this week, talking about the case of the week. It starts, of course, with a French documentary profiling Ricky Pecker, who is on death row. He has 29 days left to live before he's executed. And he's basically saying, like, yeah, there's this dead body somewhere, but why should I tell you about it? Because, like, it's more work for the cops and they won't want to do anything about it. And I was a little confused by this opening because it's definitely not something that we usually see. I was like, did I turn on the right show? Like, the style's a little bit different. And then also to hear French people, a little weird. But I kind of liked how Ricky was used in telling the story of this case this week.
Yeah, I mean, he was someone that was kind of like a wild card thrown into the episode of like, oh, there's this random guy talking about this murder. And he's going to be pivotal to the case. Yeah,
and did you recognize? I did not recognize.
You called him Ricky. You called him Ricky
Parker.
You called him Ricky Pecker. His name is Ricky Packer.
Packer.
You said Ricky Pecker. His name is Ricky Packer, Marissa.
Oh my gosh, you could totally have helped me out by looking at our notes, Jason.
It's Santa Claus thing. It's got you shook. It's got you put in words that don't go or letters that don't go or letters. You really
Mhm.
something on the mind there. I don't know.
Did you
Marissa.
recognize Ricky
Question.
Parker, Jason?
Ricky Packer. I recognize Ricky Packer.
Oh, is that just Ricky? Did you
My
recognize
gosh,
Ricky?
Marissa. Yeah, let's stick with Ricky. I recognize Ricky.
Good.
I recognize Ricky only because, for some unknown reason, my wife and I were obsessed with The Unit back in the day.
Oh, you were
Uh,
obsessed with the
the
unit. Okay, then. All right. Just making sure.
yeah,
Just
I
making
I
sure.
walked right into that one. I
Just
walked into that
making
one.
sure.
The Unit was a television show, okay, back in the mid aughts, okay, about a group of, I guess you could call them like a task force, like a SEAL team type of thing, which is weird because this guy Michael Irby, who plays Ricky, is well known for being in these like military like hardcore
Mm-hmm.
forces. So that's where I knew him from, but he's been in a lot of stuff. He was in, like I said, he was in SEAL Team. He was on Barry. I didn't watch Barry, but
Barry. Oh, good one.
Barry.
Barry.
Yeah, he was in that. He was in a bunch of other stuff too.
All right. That's Ricky
Yeah, Mayans MC. Yeah, that's
Packer.
Ricky. Good old Ricky Packer. That's right.
So the next thing we see is of the crime scene. Dana is there. Okay, Dana's here, even though she wasn't going to be here, and now she's back, and now she's everywhere. There's so much Dana in this episode, which is fine, but it's just if they're expecting me to buy that she was working there for a very long time, I'm not buying it. Like I can't buy it.
And they are not even consistent themselves in this whole Dana has worked here
Yeah,
forever because something happens later where I'm just like, what? Huh? And I like, first of all, they banter, Carrie and Dana banter, blah,
of
blah,
course, of
blah.
course.
She goes, they're in the rain on an umbrella. She goes, you missed a button. Am I supposed to surmise that they were just like messing around and then they got the call to come here and
I
they got there
guess.
separately? Like, he's like, you got here before me. She's like, did you go stop for hamburgers? Like, did they leave from the same place because
I
they were
guess. Yeah.
messing around?
They were
And
canoodling.
then there's this odd music cue. Did you clock that? I was like, why are they playing this weird music? It was like, wow, 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 wow. I was like, what? What is this? Why are we? Do we have a new music producer this episode? What's going on?
Maybe. Yeah, it was a little awkward and they were definitely like, yeah, they definitely had to have done something before this. They were all like Deputy Carriagos and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, ASA. I forget her last name, but they were being a little flirty. But the crime scene itself, they did find the body that Ricky was talking about, but they also found this other body of a Jane Doe whose name ended up being Adrian Ivor. And we know this was Adrian Ivor because she had fancy shoes, she had $300 in her wallet, and she had her boyfriend's phone number. That was
Crazy.
it.
That
And
would have her.
she's been missing
Uh,
for 6 months. That's what they
yeah,
know.
yeah, crazy that she has her boyfriend's phone number in her purse. Ridiculous.
I just think like after 6 months in the mud and the rain, like the fact that they could read it, amazing. But also
Mm.
like wouldn't she have it memorized? I have no idea. Speaking of the boyfriend, he's gonna get picked up from the firm, which ties into another moment in the show. But he's there. He's like scared. They're like, what's gonna happen? You're gonna go in. They're gonna take your clothes. You're gonna get a jumpsuit. They're gonna take your picture, fingerprint you. You're going in, bud. I think his name is Ted. Ted? Todd? Tom? Ted. Tom.
Something like that. It doesn't really matter because we don't even talk to Ted, Tom, Teddy, and again for like one scene. Then it's like, we don't care about you, Tommy. You don't matter to this. He was like, yeah, I didn't report her missing because she said she's going back to Canada. It's like, sure, Teddy, your
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend from Canada, right? We get it, Canada.
Linda is taking it upon herself to get started on this investigation and is just like snooping in Carrie's office as she does. Like, this is not unusual behavior for Kalinda at all. And this is when we get the meeting of Dina and Kalinda. And Dina says to Kalinda, we haven't met yet. I'm Dana. And I was like,
Now,
what?
now, how is that possible? If Dana's been working at state's attorney's office for years, Kalinda has worked
At the state's attorney's
for
office.
and at the state's attorney's office and has like mixed it up with the state's attorney's office. We are to presume even before we met her in The Good Wife. So how is it these two's paths have never crossed before? Come on, Kings. I'm gonna need you to fill in those plot holes. I need you to tidy up the script. I need you to tidy up the story.
Yeah.
It's like they just forgot that Dana was not a new in character. They were just like, oh yeah, that's what actually, you know what? We said Dana worked there a long time before. It was
There
sloppy work.
has
Just
been
sloppy.
nothing about this storyline that needed her to work here before.
Nothing.
There's nothing. She could have just been a new ASA. Like, I know they like
Yeah.
went and fired a bunch of people, but this could have been just like, okay, we brought her on, or she like transferred from somewhere else or something. Like, we did not need to know that she was here before and then not have any recollection, anyone reminding us that they know her at all. It's very
So
weird. It's a little weird.
So weird. Yeah.
So Dana thinks that, you know, Tim, Todd, boyfriend man, killed her and used a P99 handgun. Kalinda thinks that they were there at the same time that this gang member shooting was happening, and the gang member took the gun and shot Adrian. So this is what happens. But there's also, Jason, there's also a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a vibe happening between these two people.
There's vibes. I mean, it's Kalinda. There's a vibe. There's going to be a vibe when Kalinda's involved. And, you know, it's so funny that Kalinda, like, just used her Kalinda sense and is just like, yep, this is what happened. She walked into a gangland shooting, and the guy killed her and the gang member, and that's why they're both buried in the same plot. Anything else? Oh, you need proof. Okay, fine. I'll go get that for you, too. It's just like...
Yeah.
Kalinda's just like just knows everything when she walks in the door.
Well, I mean, she is the exposition queen. You know, like I think this is like her. This is her job. During the conversation with Dana, though, she denies that there is. She's like, "There's not a me and Carrie." Sure. And we also see that a juvenile of 14 years old, Maurice, has turned himself in, and so he takes credit, I guess, like for the gang member shooting, and so. Dana thinks that half of this case is done, but Kalinda is like, what if I find this evidence? How can I get in touch with you? What can I do? And Dana gives her card and her cell phone, writes her cell phone and says, write whenever. So there were vibes. I just want to say, there were definite vibes.
And important to point out, though, it felt like there were vibes from Dana to Kalinda.
Yes.
But Kalinda's not even necessarily returning them. She's just like, I'm just living my life.
Yes.
Like, I cannot help when people throw themselves at me. I'm just... being me. Like I'm not even trying anything. Yeah. And this lady is slipping me her number. I'm like, it must be so hard being Kalinda.
It
like,
really
it just
must be.
I mean, such a burden. Being so hot
Punjabi,
and so
like, let us know.
Seductive.
Yeah.
Yeah. How tough is it in your everyday life to be hot and just being seductive without even trying?
I wouldn't know. So we've got in the firm, the French filmmaker comes in and brings in some extra footage. He says, I tried to hand this over to the police. They didn't want the rest of this message. But apparently in this recording, we have Ricky saying that the vice lords are going to set up someone, probably a juvenile, to take credit for this. And if the cops are happy, then why do we need to do anything else? And that's exactly what had happened with Maurice, the 14-year-old kid who took the fall for everything. And we've got 36 hours on the clock until Ricky is going to be executed to get more information about the case of the boyfriend, not the case of the gang member who was shot. It doesn't turn out too well for boyfriend Tim Tom Ted, because he was denied bail and he's like super worried. He's like, I can't go to jail. I can't be here. You're gonna be fine.
He's so freaked out. He's like, I can't go back there. It's like, what is happening to you in there? Like, are you like, did Santa come visit? What's happening? What is going on? Like, what are they making you do in there? He's like, I can't go back in there. And Alicia has no like sympathy. She's like, it's just a bail hearing. Relax. You'll be fine. You're just going back to jail. I was like, oh, okay, Alicia, damn.
Yeah, I have some things about Alicia in this episode, which we will get to. Then, like, in another courtroom, we've got legal aid guy is back. He is working on Ricky's death row appeal, and Diane comes up and says, like, hey, can we work together on this? Do you have access to Ricky? We need access to Ricky. Maybe we'll help you with your appeal if you help us with our case. So they end up agreeing to do this. They go back to Lockhart Gardner. They're talking about what they're going to do. And Will is like in the corner being completely critical of this entire strategy. He's like, okay, so like our thing is to win the appeal and then see what he can help us for our guy. How does that help our client? It's like the worst strategy ever. And Diane's like, yeah, but it's all we got. Okay, thank you for coming. Goodbye.
I know Willow's under a lot of stress right now,
Yeah,
like under like investigation. He's just for the past like 2 to 3 episodes, he's been acting like a big old baby.
yes.
Like, bro, you finally got your Alicia, and now you're just like so sourpuss all the time. Relax, dude. Relax.
Also in the scene, Kalinda is basically told to go get some more information on the gang killing. And Jason, we had a moment, a feud moment, because Alicia and Kalinda
Mhm.
were in the same room. However, Alicia acted like Kalinda did not exist. So
Of course,
she wasn't
she
even
has to.
looking at her. Her back was to her. Kalinda spoke. She didn't turn around. Yeah. So
Yep.
they were feuding for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just again, it's the mandate. I don't want to see her. I don't want to talk to her. We will not make eye contact, and that is what
And
we'll do.
okay, like if you didn't know this was going on, I don't know. It still just really bothers me. This is a long
Mhm.
time, Alicia, to hold someone accountable for this, but also like to shun her out. I don't know. I still have issues with it. I've said my piece on it, but I'm gonna keep talking about it.
Yeah,
Anywho,
yeah, for sure.
Will at this point calls Alicia into his office and is like, "Sorry, that had to sound like so bossy. Like Diana's watching us, blah blah
Right.
blah." And there's a conversation about like, do we need to pause? Things are really complicated right now. And to her credit, Alicia says, even if we said we're gonna pause, we probably won't pause. Yeah.
Bad girl, Alicia. Even if you said we were, we probably wouldn't, right? And I was like, oh, "You're right, babe. You're right. we just gotta be careful around mom. I mean, Diane."
Yeah. She's totally and Diane is kind of momming it in this moment. So that's going on. But also Will is asking like, hey, so like what does Peter know about us? Like does he know anything that we should be
Hmm.
concerned about? She's like, no, he doesn't know anything. But Peter knows something. Alicia views these photos of a rape and murder that Ricky did at one point during the discovery for the appeal case. And he raped and murdered 3 young girls. It's not great.
Oof,
But at the same
not at
time,
all.
I have never seen Alicia react in this way to any of the things that she has defended up until this point.
Yeah, Alicia has seen a lot
Yeah.
up until this point of the show, and this is what gets her. She has been in the room with dead bodies and has been like, okay. But this, I mean, listen, it was terrible. It
It
was a terrible
was.
scene. And as she says, having a daughter that age
Yes.
is does factor in. But I mean, I feel like you've seen things almost as bad or as bad. Like I said, she's been in the room with a murder victim.
I also feel
But
like this
this is the
was
thing that gets her over the top.
a lot of season one Alicia in this episode, like
Hmm.
questioning the morality and the
Yep.
legality of the law and all of this stuff. And I just was like, I literally said to my television as I was watching this, I was like, okay, Juliana. Like, I just was like, oh man, this is not like this is a different
Just eye
person.
roll.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, fine. Yeah. But I mean, like, she's got to work on this appeal. And legal aid guys is like, we just need like mitigation. We just need to like get just 1% so that we can get an appeal here. Maybe we can go with the fact that he had a bad and painful childhood because Alicia brings up the fact that maybe he had a lot of surgeries because he had a neuroblastoma and like all of the stuff. And so they're like, yeah, okay, let's go with that. Meanwhile, Kalinda and Dana meet up at the bar, the only bar in Chicago. I just want to let you know it's the only one. And Kalinda's asking Dana for access to the blue light cameras. And I know what you're thinking. You might be thinking blue light, like blue lights. Yes. But also, it's not like blue light blocker glasses. It's a literal blue light. There's cameras all over Chicago with a little blue light on them. And that's when you know that the camera is watching. So the blue light cameras is what she needs access to. And Dana's like, yeah, okay, like I'll help you, but if you help me, what do you know about Will Gardner and Judge Baxter? So she's not giving up on this. I know Peter recused himself from this, but Carrie hasn't really did
Mhm.
any work on this. This is definitely something that Dana has her teeth into and will not let go.
And so to talk about what's going on here, it's like Judge Baxter, we know Judge Baxter, right?
I think he's the basketball
He is the
coach, man.
guy, the basketball coach, man. He was the the coach. No, he was the guy that was taking money, right, from prisons to send like young
Yeah,
black kids
but he played
to
basketball.
prison, right?
Sorry, he played basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they all played basketball. Yeah. So it's like, and then now we hearing this like he's taking kickbacks from him. Like, I was lost here. Is this something new about this part of the story?
I don't know. I don't really know what we're supposed to know and what we're not supposed to know about this Will Gardner Judge Baxter situation, but it sounds like later on in the episode, Will has an idea. So hopefully we will get some clarification
Yeah.
on that in the next episode or so. But yeah,
I do love the callbacks in this
yeah,
episode to other very much earlier episodes, but I do kind of wish you would have the device like a lot of shows do when we talk about somebody, like when they mention Judge Baxter, we're like flash to Judge Baxter. Remember this guy?
this is
Because I think without that context, you'd be like, "Who's Judge Baxter?" Especially in the time we were living in then, like this would have been probably a year ago, maybe that we saw Judge Baxter, and I
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
blame
yeah.
anyone for being like, "Do we know Judge Baxter? Who's Judge
Well,
Baxter?" I had to
especially
remind myself.
because
Yeah.
TV wasn't watched the way we're watching it now. Like it was
Yep.
like a season ago could have been like 2 actual years. Like it doesn't.
Hmm.
It's not the same. It's a long time for us, and we're watching pretty much an episode or two a week, and we still don't have.
Yep.
We have to remind ourselves who Judge Baxter is. But Jason, it's a lot to ask the Kings to put up a picture of someone when we can't even get a name for someone in the
Yeah.
episodes. I would appreciate a good flashback, but I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get that ever on at least The Good Wife, maybe in The Good Fight.
Yeah.
There also was a moment again with the vibes coming from Dana because she's like, "Where'd you get that jacket, Kalinda?" And Kalinda's like, "You can check the tag." And they like, there's like it's like a moment.
You can touch my jacket if you
Yeah,
want to see the label. You can go ahead. You can peel it back. Take a look at my back and my shoulders when you're looking at the back of this jacket. Like Dana, like ew. Keep your hands to yourself, lady. Like
yeah. I was
jeez.
like, are
Like
you trying
what
to like set
what are
up
you
a
trying to
threesome
do?
here with Kalinda and Carrie and
Yeah,
yourself? Like, what's
weird.
going on? And that's fine. Like, no, I'm not going to shame it, but like, be like clear, at least with us, the audience. Tell it, like,
Hmm.
break the fourth wall. Tell me what's going on.
I also wonder, is this like I don't know, is like a Dana is trying to become Kalinda? Like what is this?
She
Like
might feel
it's
like
weird.
some jealousy and some like protecting of her Carrie turf. You know,
Hmm.
like Carrie doesn't need you
Yeah.
anymore. It's got me, the seductress. I'm his seductress now. I don't know. I don't know. It's just very weird. Alicia and legal aid guy go to visit Ricky's mom, Mrs. Packer, and we learned a
Yes.
lot about Ricky here.
Correct.
But I want to pause for a moment because I think Mrs. Packer looked familiar, and Jason let us know
Yeah.
who she was.
Leslie Uggams, who in her own right is a very famous like Broadway actress. She has been in the entertainment industry for decades, and I was introduced to Leslie at a very young age. She was a guest host on the Muppet Show back in the day. Something that I didn't something that I didn't put together until I used to watch the show Empire,
Mhm.
right? And she was on Empire as it's kind of like for those that don't know, it's kind of like a black soap opera type of thing about a music executive played by Terrence Howard, aka Lucius Lyon, and Taraji P. Henson,
Yes.
and it was a whole thing. Leslie Uggams played Lucius's mother, and she was crazy in that show. Nuts, crazy, like literally crazy town. And then I was looking at her, I was like, I know this woman from somewhere. And it just happened that around that same time, Disney Plus was, taking off,
Yeah.
and they finally got the Muppet Show on Disney Plus. And I was like, oh, let me watch the Muppet Show. And it was like Leslie Uggams. I'm like, I know her. And I was like, oh my God. And then I connected the dots. And I was like, oh, I know Leslie Uggams from my childhood. And now it's to see her here. I was like, Leslie's back. It's Leslie again. So that was a big tangent. But Leslie Uggams, everyone, here she is.
I'm glad you had that moment. It's fun, like when people from other parts of your life like show up in something that you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's
Yep.
like you were there with all of the Jasons. We're watching this and celebrating to see Leslie
Mhm.
Uggams. So they go visit Leslie Uggams, and so the whole story from Ricky has been like, my mom hasn't visited me, and we learned that like he won't let her visit, which is a little bit of a different story. And we also learned that like the
Yeah.
health issues that were attributed to him were actually his brothers. And he didn't have any issues in school. He was basically like around. And so legal aid guy is like, well, we can't go with the bad childhood. Maybe he was too spoiled. Like maybe that's a route we could take.
I love it. They're like, we have to show that he has a bad upbringing, lived in squalor. We get to this nice house. We see pictures of Ricky at Christmas getting like a Christmas
Yeah.
dog. It's like, no, Ricky was fine. He was doing good in school. He got everything he ever wanted. So it's like, okay, so this is just like a deranged, crazy person. I don't know. I was like, so we cannot use a poor like. I don't know. I forgot what they called it, but like a poor me defense, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. But we do get also introduced to, not into, a priest, Father. What's his name? Hold on, Father Jim.
Father Jim, yeah.
Father Jim is also from the Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul universe. Actor Mark
Hector
Mangolis.
Salamanca.
Yeah.
Hector Salamanca, or as he's probably better known on Breaking Bad. Ding 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 ding
Yeah.
ding ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he shows up here. He is basically telling Alicia, like, pretty sure this guy did what he said he's in jail for. Like, I'm pretty sure he did it. And then this is going to be a pet peeve of mine. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. But then Alicia says, but why shouldn't he be killed? Like, is there anything you could say? And the father's like, he shouldn't be killed. Like, he's a person. He shouldn't be killed. And she like walks outside. She's like, I can't imagine thinking of all of these things. And, oh my God, shouldn't he be killed? And like legal aid guy is like, no, he should not be killed. Like, I really don't know why you're doing this. Like, I'm pretty sure like I thought we were on board. I thought we were on the same team here. And she's just very annoying. Again, another okay, Juliana. Like, I just was like, oh boy.
We get it. You want to win it, and
Yes.
we understand.
Yeah. I was just like, geez, Louise.
And it's like, Alicia, you have a bloodlust for this man right now. I understand he did terrible things, but Alicia, I also want to remind you, you were in the same room as Colin Sweeney after he killed his dog walker. And you were like, oh my goodness, and had no problem like defending Colin Sweeney to try and get him out of jail. Yes, you think he is a reprehensible person, but you were never like, he got like he needs to be killed.
And also, like, sorry, I'm going to defend Grace in this instance for her getting like super riled up now. Like, I get it, like seeing someone Grace's age, but like, Grace will grow up. That could have been Grace later. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or herself, or a friend she knows. Like, she doesn't have we're not seeing this empathy and concern like anywhere else. And it just felt really out of character for me. And it really annoyed me, if you can tell, throughout the entire episode.
And yeah, it's like you can only empathize with victims when it personally relates to you.
Let's Google white feminism. No, just kidding. But yeah, it's a little not great. Meanwhile, Kalinda and Dana review the blue light camera footage, and Kalinda like picked up on the fact that there was like this corner war happening between these two gangs. And while they're doing this, Dana, of course, is pressing for more information about Judge Baxter. Kalinda gives her basically like, I know who this guy is, but not like anything else around that. So that's still going on. Alicia is, again, I'm frustrated. So she's in court and she's like dissociating. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm here defending a murderer who, like, to stay alive, basically. I just want to be clear. Like, no one should be killed by the state. Like, I'm just saying that should not happen. At least in my opinion. I will not speak for Jason, but that is how I feel.
Kill them all. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. No.
I don't want to speak but the fact that Diana's like, or Alicia's like freaking out about this, she's not doing a really good job at doing her job. She's letting her all of the stuff that went on with Peter, all of the other stuff she didn't let in the courtroom, but this is like really, really getting to her.
It's affecting her.
Yeah. Diane is.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Well, and you know what's crazy is like Diane is like literally lying on like in the courtroom. She's like, this guy, he had a terrible childhood. His mama is here to tell us how shittily she raised this man. I'm like, and the priest is here to say he's a great guy. Like, so everyone's just gonna perjure themselves for this man. I mean, I get it. We're trying to save him from being killed, so I guess do what you got to do. Like, we're going to risk a perjury charge to make sure our person stays alive, even though we know that he is a monster.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
like, there was this moment where, the priest did go up there and was like, he's a redeemable man. Like, I believe in redemption, all of this stuff. And Alicia's like, why did you just do that? Like, you just lied. It's like, again, Alicia, no one should die. I just want to be clear there. And he's like, nothing is clean. As I get older, I realize that nothing is very clean. So I'm just like, oh my God, is this going to go back into the her and Peter thing or the her and Will thing? Like, I don't want like that message of like nothing's very clean to get in her head.
And Alicia's like, what if this was for his release? And it's like, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally just to say he doesn't die. He's still going to serve the rest of his life in prison. He just won't be killed by the state. So Alicia, chill out.
But Diane's strategy worked. They are going to consider the appeal, and they did get granted access to go visit Ricky and get information. Diane sends Alicia. And again, before Alicia goes, she needs a little pep talk from Diane. Like, are you okay? Can you do this? Is this something that you could do? It's just so out of character for the Alicia we've seen, specifically in season 3, when she's had her, like, I'm a badass thing going on.
Yeah, she's like, I got a new attitude. Except for this episode where I am, once again, scared first year.
Yeah.
That's questioning my morals and can I do this? Well,
if this were
but
Caitlyn,
Diane's
like if Caitlyn was on this, I would totally understand. Like her,
hey,
Anna Camp.
Yeah, where's Caitlyn?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Where's Caitlyn at?
I don't know, but if she were here, I would totally understand like this reaction coming from her, but not from Alicia.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, for sure. And Diane's like, are you sure you can do this, Alicia? Are you sure you don't want to talk to Will before you do this or something? I don't know. Like, I just shouldn't throw that in there at her.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, Alicia's like, yeah, I can. Like, but no, for Alicia's point, she's like, yeah, I can do this. This is my job. I'm good. Stop freaking out. I got this. I got this.
I got this. Meanwhile, back at the firm, Kalinda goes and tells Will, like, hey, look, I've been let back into the state's attorney's office to investigate. And speaking of investigations, they are investigating you. Is this coming from Peter? And he's like, I don't know for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me. Basically, like, yeah, I think so. And she says, like, use me, ask for my help. Did you pay this judge? And he says, no, but I think I know why they think I did. And so Kalinda says, just go ahead, ask for my help. I will help you if you ask for my help. And Will says, I just want to hug you. And she's like, no, just ask for my help.
No hugs.
No hugs. No hugs. So Alicia, after she has given herself a pep talk on the ride to Indiana, goes and visits Ricky in prison. She is freaked out. She is like she's not confident. She is scared. Even legal aid guy has to like check in with her. Like, you sure you can do this? Is the thing you can do? And so she goes and visits Ricky and she says, look, we think that the person who killed the gang member that you told us to find is this guy. Can you tell us? Can you help us solve this case? And he's like, why should I do that? I'm going to die. She's like, well, we're helping with your appeal. Like, why won't you help us help you? Help us, like, quid pro quo this. And he basically says at the end, get my mom and brother here because I heard they've been, talking good about me. And I will tell you who killed this. And we don't or killed the man. I don't necessarily see this happen, but in the next scene, Kalinda is telling Dana that they should go after someone named Mace. So at this point, we're led to believe that this is what Ricky said and gave up this information, which he did, but I don't know if it was in good faith.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, Ricky asked, like, so my mom, my brother can't testify, and Alicia's, yep, they were both there. It's like, why are you lying? The brother was not there. Like, she literally lied to this man. I was like, yep, they both said good things about you. Like, damn, okay. And yeah, I mean, I think after Alicia's impassioned plea to be like, just tell us now, please. I will get what you want, but just tell us now, please. That I guess he did give up the names. But honestly, it would have been interesting if they went a different direction. And like, because Alicia finds this man so reprehensible that she's just like, I got the name. I don't really need to
pass
bring
it on.
the mother and the brother here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to do that. So like, she finds him so terrible. She could have been like, it would have been an interesting moment for Alicia. It would have been a really dark, villainous moment to be like, nope, not gonna do it. In a moment where we think he wants to see them because he wants to tell them he loves them for the last time, say
Yeah.
goodbye for the last time. But I think it shows that she's still willing to do what she should do in the face of defying this guy.
Yes.
Awful, terrible, reprehensible. So I guess it is a moment for her to stay true to herself, her values and morals. She did make a promise and she carried through with it. But I think it would have been a villainous little turn of the mustache for Alicia to be like, I got what I want. You're a dick. You're a murderer of little young women, so I'm not going to do anything for you.
Or even just like a moment of contemplation, like before she picks up the phone to call. You know what I mean? Like her in her car, like just thinking about it would have been also good. It would have justified all of the random behavior we've saw from her in this episode if there was like a moment of, should I do this? But she does end up doing it. So Dana goes to Carrie and says, hey, like, we got this Mace guy. This could be an adult conviction. We only have Maurice on a juvenile conviction. I think we should go after it. Carrie's like, is that what Kalinda said? And there's this whole thing, like they're basically fighting over Kalinda. And at one point, Dina is like, I've never said this before, but I'm going to say it now for you. I am not a lesbian. And I'm sitting here going, do bi people not exist? Like you can be like, that doesn't mean that she's not bi, but she says she's not a lesbian. And I just, it was very weird.
Shout out to the IMDb page
Oh.
of the Good Wife for this episode. In the trivia portion for this episode, it says Dana Lodge actress Monica Raymond actually came out as bisexual and says she had been since 2004. I was like, okay, I don't know why I needed to know that fact, but interesting considering, you know, what her character just said this episode. So I was like, that's interesting trivia for this episode.
She, like, the vibes were real. like that's why the vibes were good.
She wasn't faking them.
No, Carrie responds to her though, and with a line that I thought was pretty good. It's like, I know people that were anything before they met Kalinda. Like, oof.
Do you like Kalinda? Yes, Kalinda is a baddie, a certified baddie. But is she what Carrie's making her out to be?
Oh,
She's
no.
like he is making her out to be just this omega level like manipulator and turner of people. Like I don't think we've even seen Kalinda do the things that Carrie is accusing her of doing. I was like, I think we're really making this into something it's not, because this is crazy. Carrie's making this mountain out of a molehill for sure.
For sure. Dana tells Carrie, Kalinda's trying to get to me through you, or Carrie tells Dana, Kalinda's trying to get to me through you, and says, I don't want her. I was like, oh my God.
But I've never seen someone live so rent-free in someone as Kalinda is. Like, she's been living there for months, never paid a lick of rent for this room in Carrie's head. Like, she is just in there all the time, just bonging about in his brain. He thinks about her nonstop. Everything is about what she's doing to him. And Kalinda's, we'll talk about it later, but it's like, I'm just living my life, and you're telling me that I'm trying to turn this woman into a lesbian? Like, what's going on?
I mean, I wouldn't blame Dana for trying to get a threesome in this situation, because there basically is like a mental one happening in Carrie's head at this moment anyway.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
So Kalinda and Carrie meet up because Carrie's going to go question Mace, the new suspect. And they're fighting. They're doing their Carrie Kalinda thing. What do you want from me, Kalinda? What do you do? And she's like, what do you think? I don't need anything from you. I don't want anything from you. And then all of a sudden it was bang, bang, boom, boom. Fire, like a lot of gunfire. And Carrie covers Kalinda, protects her, all of this stuff. And Mace basically falls on the ground. holding Tom's gun. And so either like word through the gang vine got through to Mace's, like to take care of Mace before the cops came, or Mace made that happen himself. I don't know. It wasn't very clear to me. But at the end, Mace is shot and has Tom's gun.
Well, it just seemed like Mace was looking to get out of there because the cops were there, and he was just like, I gotta go. And cops like, you're not going nowhere. He's like, F that, and he got killed by the cops. And Kalinda's like, that's a Walther PP9. That's Tom's gun. I'm like,
That's
I
it.
mean, I'm sure a lot of people own that style of gun. I don't think you could just say that by looking at it. Well, she sure did. She's like, that's definitely Tom's gun. It's the same. It's the same make and models. Like, I think we need to
Well,
check some stuff first,
to be
like a serial
fair,
number, some fingerprints. I don't know.
they did get confirmation
They do
later.
later.
And we can just talk about that now. So they get confirmation later, and Carrie's like, yeah, it was Tom's gun. You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. That was my first gunfight. Oh my gosh. It was very like Speed in my mind. Like people fall in love under high intensity
Hmm.
like situations. And Kalinda says, thanks for protecting me. And again, Kara's like, what do you want? I don't know what you're here. It's just like he says, I don't like you being in my head. And very Kalinda answer here, then get me out. If you don't
Hmm.
want me there, then get me out. And then they kiss. Kiss, kiss, bye is what I wrote in my notes. It was kiss. What are we doing? I don't know. Kiss again. And then Carrie's like, I gotta go.
Clinton was down to clown. She's like, all right, cool, let's do it. Like, I don't care. Like, I mean, obviously she doesn't know that Carrie and Dana are doing something. She probably, Clinton, you can look at a photo and say, this is what happened in this gangland killing, but you can't look at Carrie and Dana and be like, oh, they're effing. That is a match. But I mean, because I think this new Kalinda that we've seen that is, I guess, has some sort of moral compass. I think if she knew, she probably wouldn't have done this with Dana because
Right.
we saw her back away from Sophia, who has also another person that's just disappeared off the show,
Yes.
just gone. Like no declaration of leaving, no trail, just gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's. I think if she knew that Dana and Carrie worked together, she wouldn't have done this because now she's altruistic, Kalinda. But
Yes.
this is a steamy makeout. Carrie stops himself and just like, yeah, I guess I gotta go because I guess I have a thing with Dana and this probably isn't right. So I guess I gotta
Or
go.
he's like, I don't want to get hurt again. It's either that or like
Hmm.
one or the
Yeah.
other. To wrap up the case, the appeal was lost. So legal aid guy and Alicia are waiting outside for Ricky's mom and brother to arrive. And Alicia tells his mom, Ricky did really help us. Like we got the guy. We got the guy for the case. It's great. And she says that really helps. And Ricky says goodbye to his mom and brother, and everything's fine at the end. Like that's how it goes. He's just like, "Oh, mom, thanks so much for being here. I love you so
Uh,
much. This was the best."
thank you for the thank you for the great childhood. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry that I ruined it, that I
yeah,
disappointed you,
hmm
that I've gotten to myself to this place. That's totally what happens in
yeah,
a brighter timeline than we take place in.
yeah. So like maybe Ricky really was a bad guy in how he greets and says goodbye to his mom because his mom is like, "Hey, is there anything we can do for you?" And his response is, "You can burn in hell." And I was like, "Whoa, where? What?"
Yeah, I don't think we got enough into Ricky's motivation,
Yeah,
backstory, like why he feels this way towards his mother. I don't get it. I guess I can see where a version of this where like she thought religion what could save everything and she pushed religion on him and he resented that.
who's
I
writing
don't
the
know.
show
It
now?
did.
Look at you writing the show.
Hey, yeah, look at me. It just didn't feel like this was fleshed out enough to make this be like, oh, like this was, I mean, this was like, I almost figured at first that this would happen. I almost like predicted this. I was like, this is not going to go the way they think it's going to go. Like, this is going to go bad some way. And bad it did go for sure.
Yeah, the last thing he says, he laughs and he says, "Bye, mom. It was fun." And it's just so heartbreaking because like, and Father Jim was there. Is
Yeah, the
yeah,
brother was there.
yeah. I wonder what this will. I really hope this doesn't keep Alicia in this. Oh my God, what am I doing? Helping murderers business. But I have a feeling it might because this guy was not great.
Yeah, it's something we didn't mention. There was a line in here where they're talking about appealing to the judges, where they talk about the judge and they go, Alicia, you know this guy. The judge we're talking about, she's like, yeah, we won a death row appeal because he was a religious
Oh
conversion.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this was the judge from a season 2 episode. I looked it up, 9 Hours,
Oh
where they
yeah,
had to like, it was the one where the guy calls like, do you
yeah.
want to file an addendum
Yes,
to
yes,
to
yeah.
this memo? She's addendum. What does this mean? Addendum. And they had to figure out what it meant, what they missed, and how they could slip through a loophole or something. I don't really remember everything about this case. I remember it was guest starring the guy that plays Tyrese on The Walking Dead. That's really all
Oh
I
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
I feel like I also remember there being someone that like, we got to get the daughter here so he can see her through the comes walking down the hall.
Yes.
So like very similar case. I mean, listen, last episode we had a case involving numbers that kind of calls back to another numbers episode we
Yeah.
had in season 2. Now we've got a Death Row case that mirrors a season 2 case. Do we need to come up with some new ideas, Kings? I don't know.
I don't know. We shall see.
I don't know.
But in the meantime, Eli's still around. Eli Gold is in the building, and he interrupted the meeting with Diane and Alicia talking to Todd, Tim, Tom, the boyfriend, while he was like preparing to go to jail. And he's like, Alicia, I need you. It's important. And Alicia goes, I'm trying to like help this guy like prepare to go to jail. How can I help you? My computer's not working.
Do you think there's something else going on with the like? I almost think there's some like someone trying to. That's what's going on.
Yes, which is
you think
why
that's
like
happening?
I would not let, if I were Alicia, I would not let Zach anywhere near a computer.
No,
Because I would not want Zach to be like suspected in any way of doing this.
That's such a good point. Why would you let this young man come into this law office? Like, you, of all people, should know that there's a liability factor here, that if something does go wrong, Zach could be our lawyers.
Or if he gets access to information he shouldn't have, like breaking confidentiality, breaking privilege, like this is just a lot. There's a lot of risks in that, but we'll talk about that later. But you know what? This is a great episode because Marissa's here. Having Marissa here is always great.
Marissa's here.
Marissa's great.
That's what I always say. Having Marissa here is great.
Thank you.
And
we did learn.
I have to.
Yes, Jason. Yeah. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I have to eat my crow. I have to, take my lumps. Gotta get my gift from Santa. I have to gotta admit when I was wrong. Parker Posey is Marissa's mother.
Oh, look at that.
But I put that on the show with not putting in any line telling us that Eli and Parker Posey share a daughter. Like, they said nothing about their shared child
100%.
in that episode.
Yeah.
It was like, that's a failing on the show's part, in my opinion.
And maybe they hadn't decided until like later or whatever, but it was just like, I either remembered it or I saw it as a vibe situation. Like, Marissa's totally Parker Posey's daughter.
But I didn't see Parker Posey being the mother of Marissa. Like, the vibes aren't there for me. I don't know.
I think I put Parker Posey, the person's vibes, on Marissa.
You put her on a.
I love Parker Posey. I do love her.
You love
I love
Parker
her.
Posey.
Yeah, I do. It's true. Anyway.
So much so you named Ricky Parker. You named him Ricky Parker.
Peter. There's Peter Parker. There's a lot of Parkers. Anyway, they're having a conversation. The mom is running, and Eli is like, we can't do anything. She's a politician now. She's going to bend the truth however she wants. And Marissa says, tell mom not to run. He's like, no, you tell her, because she doesn't listen to me. And then
I already told her not to run and she didn't listen.
Yeah, exactly. Then I put that political guy, whose name is actually Mickey, comes back and talks to Eli about his candidate that Kalinda had vetted a couple episodes ago. Mm-hmm. And when Kalinda did the vetting, he's clean. There wasn't any big issue. However, since then, a photo has been surfaced. And Eli is really concerned at this point about the ridicule factor. We see like the photo being passed around, some laughs, some like, really? That's it? Eli really wants to bring the candidate in and talk to him about it, the candidate Robert Mulvaney. And first of all, before I forget, why does Mickey have to take his shoes off every single time he comes into an office? Second of all, while Mickey is leaving, he says, hey, is everything good here? Like, I hear the firm's under investigation. And at the same time, the cops are picking up the boyfriend to go to jail. And it was pretty funny.
That was good. And it's weird. Again, another weird thing about this episode. Alicia gets brought into this meeting.
Yeah.
And what's the guy's name?
Mickey.
what was
Mickey.
Mickey? I was about to say Ricky. Mickey's like, oh, Saint Alicia's here. I guess she's gonna be helping on this, huh? She's like, yeah, I will be helping. I will be in all the meetings. And then she's in none of the meetings in this Eli story.
And also, like, that Alicia is a total different Alicia than the Alicia that was working on the case. Like,
Yeah, for
totally
sure.
different.
It was so weird.
It was very
Yeah.
weird. Very weird. So Robert Buffini comes in and he's like, "You got nothing to worry about. I'm just a family guy. Like, I love my family. I love my wife, my
He's
kids."
a family guy. Dun, dun, dun.
But it turns out that this picture was, I love network television because they have to use big words and they have to find ways to say things. But basically, Robert Mulvaney was filleting Santa Claus. And Eli is like, it's going to be all over the news. Here comes Santa.
Oh, I saw Robert blowing Santa Claus underneath the mistletoe last night.
Jason cracked himself up with that one. That was pretty funny.
I really did. Yeah.
They ask Alicia, like, what do you think we should do? She says, we have the advantage of releasing it before it gets out. So, like, why don't you take advantage of that? And Eli asks before they leave, hey, just want to make sure, are there any other photos of you with any other statues anywhere else on the face of this planet? Just need to know. Just let me know. And he says, no, of course not. So Eli and Mickey bring in Chris Matthews, who was a reporter for NBC News and MSNBC and wrote speeches for Jimmy Carter, and also wanted to be an actor in some part of his life. So he's here playing himself, but also not playing himself. Like, he is not on NBC on the show. He's on some other random network that doesn't exist. But anyway, they're basically pitching Chris Matthews' story about Robert, saying like, hey, you know, this could be an expose for you. You can bring it in. You could or an exclusive, not an expose. It could be an exclusive, break the thing. And Mickey's like, defenses, well, yeah, like, so Santa's not real. So like, Santa doesn't even have a penis. Like, so this isn't even like a real thing. This is how we can spin it. Right, Chris, the spinster? And Chris is like, okay, like, I'll have this, but why don't we just put the candidate on TV and like talk about it?
Yeah, because Eli makes this weird spin. He's like, the story could be about Mickey having these clients with weird photos, and you mentioned that this is a thing. They're trying to get it out in as much as an inconspicuous way as possible.
Yeah.
So like trying to hide it. They're trying to hide it under something else to be like, yeah, it's about Mickey. He's got these crazy clients that do crazy things, like this guy, filleting Santa Claus. See, and if we just kind of pose it like that, it won't be a scandal. It'll just be a silly little thing. And Chris Matthews like, I'm not buying this horse manure.
No.
Like, I'm gonna need to talk to the guy that was filleting Santa Claus on TV. That's what I'm gonna need. And first of all, can we not be saying Santa's not real on network TV?
Exactly.
Like, there could be kids watching, but I hope
it was
that
on at
when we
9
heard
p.m.
that this guy was. And I hope when we heard that someone was filleting Santa Claus, we said, okay, this probably isn't an episode for little Jimmy to be watching. So he probably should just head on to bed, little Jimmy. You're not going to watch this episode of The Good Wife tonight, Jimmy, this week. I'm sorry. You won't get to see Alicia and Will making love or whatever's going to happen here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But mommy, I love Alicia. I know, Jimmy. I know. But this isn't an episode for you. It's a little too adult for you, little man.
Yeah.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. So he goes on TV.
Sorry, y'all. It's the cough medicine. I'm on like so much so much codeine right now. It's crazy. I'm seeing purple elephants in front of me.
No, Jason.
Marissa's talking chicken.
No, Jason.
Marissa's talking chicken right now. It's a lot's going on. A lot's happening.
I got a text message and spaced out for a minute myself. Okay. So, anywho, he goes on TV and he's like, hey, judge me for what I say and do now. Like, this was college me. College me is totally different than right now me in my 40s. And Chris Matthews is like, hey, is this also you? This also a picture of you at a sculpture garden? Like, is this also you? And both Eli and Mickey are like, okay. there goes that one. And basically, Robert has to give a press conference saying, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm an alcoholic. And once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. So I'm going to go back into the program and disappear for a while. So that was the way
it
out.
seems like that is like the break glass and emergency of we can't do anything else. Like just hit the alcoholic button and just make it go away. Make him go away, make this thing go away for a while and just reset. Be a nice reset when he comes back.
Yes. There was a funny moment where Mickey says, like, hey, we want to run him for state senate. Eli's like, oh, state senate? Interesting. My ex-wife is running. He's like, oh, that must be great for you. Basically, he's like, oh, awkward.
Yeah. I regret to think this means we're going to get more Parker Posey. I hope when she comes back, I don't know, it flows better.
Yeah,
when she comes back.
Agreed. All right.
And listen, poor Robert Mulvey and his objectophilia. I did look up what the thing known as having sexual attraction towards inanimate objects. Objectophilia, I think, is what Robert is suffering from.
He loves sure there's a program for that. Statues. Like he could go do that.
There's got to be something. Yeah. I mean, that's what he should have said in his little press conference. And again, where was the good wife? Where's Robert's wife? I think that would have been interesting to see the good wife for Robert too, and he's explaining his objectophilia to the press. Yeah, okay, Marissa, let's get to your favorite segments of this episode. I'm gonna let you rage when we get there.
Okay, first of all, Zach is the official IT guy of everything, like of the house, of the law firm, of everything. And Marissa's decided to make friends with Zach. And there was a cute little scene where Marissa was talking to Zach, and Eli comes in and says, hey, can I talk to you? And she says, yeah, like in a minute, like I'm talking to Zach. And he's like, Zach is really busy. Like, let Zach do his work. She's like, no, Zach can multitask. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't think I like this between the two of them, but I do like Marissa. If Marissa is able to stir some stuff up with Zach, I think it would be fun.
I do love the fact that Marissa is the only person that can talk to Eli this way, and like it's so great when she comes in and just like pretty much serves him, just like, all right, I rule this, like you do what I want, you wait for me to do whatever I want, like it's not about you, Dad. I run this here. So I love that she's the only person that can do that.
Yes, it's great. It's great. So earlier on in the episode, Alicia calls home and she's like, oh my gosh, Grace, like you come home every day after school, right? Like, and you lock the door, right? And like all of this stuff. And I'm going to work late. So your dad's going to come by and pick you up. And that's just how it's going to be because I'm scared that someone's going to come murder you, basically.
Yeah.
And so they're in the house. Marissa's over. Randomly. Just talking to Zach, basically saying like, I can tell you how to work it with the like divorced parents. Like, Zach already got a car out of the deal or something, already pitched for a car, but Marissa, I'm sure, has more tricks up her sleeve. And then the doorbell rings.
Well, also, like, Marissa makes sure to call Eli while she is there with Zach.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Marissa's only here to mess with her dad. I think that is like the primary function of her doing this.
Yes, it's so great. So the doorbell rings and we're expecting it to be Peter picking up the kids. And that's the end of the episode. And then it's freaking Jackie, okay? Like Jackie comes in and she's super nosy and she's like, what's going on? Who are you? And Marissa, of course, like, I'm Marissa. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And Marissa's, yeah, what are we doing here, Zach? Like, she's so good at like turning it around. It's so great. Like she is. I know we share a name and spelling of the name, like 2 S's, same thing. And I could be biased on that front, but she's a fantastic character.
Marissa, you said this a lot. Is 2 S's really that unique?
Yes.
I feel like the most time I see Marissa, it's spelled with 2 S's.
I mean, I don't want to like answer that on the basis of this question, but
wow.
You said stuff about me at the beginning. Anywho. I've seen it a lot with 1 S, and then also for some reason when people try to spell my name, they think it's 2 R's.
Oh, okay.
Marissa, because of the Mar and then the Rissa, and I'm just like, no, it's Marissa, not Marissa, which is
it's Marissa.
It's
Marissa.
Yeah.
Marissa.
Yeah. In all honesty, that's what it is. But anywho, Marissa's awesome. And then, and Jackie is not. I just love like the back to back though that happens because Jackie has to deal with like Marissa's here with Zach. Oh God, it's a girl, and Zach was alone with the girl in the house, and then she turns around and the tutor has shown up. Jen, I think was her name, and she's like full on like face painted. She's super
Yeah.
fluorescent colors, and so Jackie's like, "Oh my God, this is too much. I can't handle this," and she decides to use this moment to snoop around the entire apartment, goes
Yeah.
through like Alicia's laundry, goes through her dresser, different things, and then she finds this bag with a computer. And thank God she cannot turn on the computer, but you know who can is Zach. And I'm like, you do not ask Zach.
Yeah.
Don't ask Zach. But Jackie is the worst. The worst. Like, no wonder I hate Peter so much if Peter was raised by this woman. That is really where I'm
Yep.
at with this. No me gusta Jackie. That's it for me on that.
I love that Jackie. I love that Jackie's looking at this computer like a alien device. She's like, how do I turn this thing on? What does this thing do? It's just like so lost. And it could be like, are you really this lost on how to turn on a computer? I know that you're old, but geez. Yeah, it was really funny and really just like shocking to be like, wow, this is like a complete invasion
Yeah.
of privacy, of boundaries. It's
Yes.
just like crazy town. I couldn't believe it when he was doing. I was like, wow, she's really going all out here. And I was waiting for Zach or Grace to come in and bust her, be like, "What are you doing? Like, what is this?" But
They were
yeah,
distracted
I
with
don't
their
know.
peeps. Like Zach had Marissa and
Yeah,
Grace had her tutor, Jen, who I think that's her name.
yeah, I love that. Like Jackie's like looking through dirty clothes. She like sees this. I don't know if it's lingerie or just like a nightgown. She's like, oh my, Alicia, you a trollop is what she's probably thinking. Probably definitely use that
The
word
thing
trollop.
is,
But yeah.
you know,
Mm.
Jackie has some of that too. You know, somewhere in there,
Oh yeah.
she's
Jackie
got
was
her
a
own
freak back in the
drawer.
day.
She's got her own drawer of stuff.
Oh yeah. Jackie
But
was a freak. We know this.
anyway, that's Death Row Tip, season 3, episode 8 of The Good Wife. Thanks for listening to my rants on multiple fronts on this episode.
We love it. We love it. Thank you, listeners, for listening to Marissa's rants, for
Yes.
my drugged up loveliness today. But yes, Marissa, can you tell all people where they can find you, what you're doing out there in Good Podland,
Sure.
and all the places, all the things.
Welcome, Good Potters, I guess, to this section of the podcast. I don't think some of that coding's coming through the podcast.
Yeah, it's
It's
wafting.
like, yeah,
through the,
it's
through the
definitely
screen.
like through osmosis. So you can find me at itsmemarissag.com, where you can join my mailing list if it looks interesting to you. You can also find links to my other socials, which are usually also under It's Me Marissa G. And currently running on Whirlwind is another podcast project that I've been working on with the gang over there, where we watch Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time. We are in the middle of season 4. There are 7 whole seasons of this 22 plus episode seasons show, and it is just a very interesting way to watch this show in particular. I don't think I could do it with The Good Wife because we don't get one like all of the time, but I'm on something like pretty Little Liars. It's pretty good.
A previously on would have really helped in the whole Judge
Yeah,
Baxter
right?
role.
Exactly.
That would have helped us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sign up for Marissa's newsletter. You know, I did discover that I don't need more tools today.
Yeah, thank you.
I did learn that.
Did you? Thanks for reading.
I'm gonna get me some nice AI helpers to help me with my life. Thanks to Marissa. She her newsletter is all about that this week. But yeah, you can find me, this guy, on my podcast, A Perfect Match, on the Patreon we just started recently. We were talking about Married at First Sight. We just finished rewatching season 1, going back into the past. We are going to be doing a worst wives ranking this week, and then we will be back on the rewatch trail with a new season. Not a new season, but old season that we're going to rewatch. A new rewatch. Yes, there you go. Perfect. A new rewatch. You can also find me on Altar Call, where me and Tane went over and talked about this show, The Virgin, or was it just, no, it's just Virgins on TLC. It was interesting. It was definitely a trip. It was a TLC show, and where TLC is like, hey, we want to give you a look into a different perspective, a different reality, while also pointing our finger and laughing at them. Which is like, I don't know. It's kind of TLC's brand in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, check me out there over on Altar Call with Tane if you want to hear about that. And that's where you can find me. And, I hope that Santa delivers you some nice, hard candy canes around Christmas time this year. And I hope you take all the advantage you can of that in whatever way you choose to take advantage of Santa's candy canes.
And until next week.
And until next week, stay good.